Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to the channel. Today, we are continuing on with our series of 5 reasons why the top 20, top 15 or so teams in the NBA will be winning an NBA championship, and this is if everything goes right. Now, the Warriors, they actually have a decent chance. They got a great core of Curry, Klay, Wiggins, and company. An experienced group that has been there and has done that. Curry, Klay, and Dre have 4 championships. Wiggins has 1 with them. They trade Jordan Poole. But they still got Kevon Looney down in the paint, and as we mentioned, Draymond Green, the other piece to that not young core, but to that championship core. So make sure to stick around for the full video today so you can see all 5 reasons as well as some lineup projections. Hit the subscribe button and leave me a comment down below. Now let's go ahead and get started looking at reason number 1, the return of Klay Thompson. Now you might be thinking, you casual, what are you talking about? He's been back for a season and a half. Well, I mean, he missed 2 full seasons, and it takes a long time to get back to the place that Klay was at, where he was the second best shooter in the league, hands down. 22 points a game, 4 rebounds, 2.5 assists, and that's good numbers last year. I mean, 44% from the field, 41% from 3 on almost 11 attempts. That's elite. Okay, he's right back there when it comes to the regular season. However, in the playoffs, he kind of lost his legs. Maybe the conditioning wasn't all the way there, but Warriors fans, you should be happy. Numbers were up all the way across the board. And again, he missed 2 full seasons. So that is two and a half seasons worth of games that didn't go on his leg. So he should still be about 2.5 years younger on the court than he is in age, if that makes sense. Number 2, the bench has been revamped completely. The only returners from last year's bench are Gary Payton II, who was only there for the second half of the season, and then Jonathan Kuminga. They bring in Dario Saric, who we will talk about more in depth later on in the video, but he is a much-needed stretch four. Last year in the playoffs, that was a huge hole that the Warriors had, was that stretch four position, a guy that could knock down the 3 ball, that happened to be like 6'10", that could also defend a little bit. They also bring in Chris Paul, who is going to command the floor for that bench unit, something they haven't had in a while since like Sean Livingston, a really good backup point guard. Then you have the young guys, Moses Moody, who should be getting an increased rotation spot this year, as well as Jonathan Kuminga, who should retain his spot from last year, and then Lester Quinones, I believe I pronounced his name right, potentially a Jordan Poole 2.0, a guy that is built within this system. He went off last year in the G League. We'll get into more details on that, though, later in today's video. And then there are 2 rookies. Trayce Jackson-Davis, who somehow fell to number 57, and Brandon Podziemski, who went at 19. Maybe that was a little bit high, but still, they got 2 more rookies, and then they bring in Corey Joseph, another solid backup guard to have in this rotation that can really knock down the 3 ball. They've got great guard depth this year with veterans on veterans on veterans, and then you got a couple of rookies, or a rookie in Podziemski and another young guy in Moses Moody. So a little bit of a youth movement in Golden State, but you still have that veteran core that has won championships. And reason number 3, their youth. They've got to continue to build this thing for the future, even though they're trying to win now. Jonathan Kuminga, 10 points, 3.5 rebounds, 2 assists, has a lot of trade value, but the Warriors are keeping him, and I think that is smart. 53% from the field, 37% from 3, 21 minutes a game, a guy that could really help them down the line. He's got all kinds of potential, and he's still like 22 years old. Moses Moody was drafted a couple of years ago, same draft as Kuminga, 5 points, 3 rebounds, 1 assist. Very good numbers from him. 48% from the field, 36% from 3 in 18 minutes a game. So the efficiency was good. Now, the points and stuff, not great, but very good efficiency. That is very promising. And then Lester Quinones, 22 points a game on 45% shooting from the field, 36% from 3 last year in the G League. Crazy good numbers from Quinones there. A guy that, like I said, Jordan Poole was self-built in the system. I think Quinones could be the next guy with Jordan Poole gone, stepping into that role, stepping into that opportunity. And then the 2 rookies here, Trayce Jackson-Davis, who could really help them on the defensive side of the ball at the power forward position. And then Brandon Podziemski, who I think spends a lot of time in the G League this year and helps them down the line. Now, reason number 4, their offseason additions. So Corey Joseph, we talked about, another veteran guy that really shoots the 3 ball well, especially off the catch and shoot, and that's, you need guard depth in this league, and having Corey Joseph as like your 3rd guard off the bench, that's pretty good. Very good depth right there. Dario Saric, like we talked about, another guy that can come in. He's going to give them really good minutes off the bench. They needed that stretch 4 that could also play defense, and that's Dario Saric for you. Chris Paul, he's going to come in. He's going to be a really, really good backup floor general for you. At this point in his career, that's probably what he is best suited as, is a backup point guard. And then you got Trayce Jackson-Davis, who you bring in at 57. Don't know how he fell that far, but he did. And he's another guy that you bring in. You know, as you mentioned, they really struggled guarding Anthony Davis, guarding Domantas Sabonis. So another guy you can bring in that has a big body, that can move his feet like Saric. And then also Lester Quinones, another guy that has a lot of opportunity to make something happen this year for the Warriors. Now, reason number 5 is they have that championship DNA. These 5 guys right here, this was the starting lineup when they won the championship 2 years ago with Steph, Klay, Wiggins, Dre, and Kevon Looney. Looney, as well as the big 3 there, have been around for basically the whole thing. I think they drafted Looney the year after they won their first championship, so Looney's got 3. The other 3 have 4. This is a team that knows how to win, knows how to win in the big moments. My only concern is they're getting a little bit up there in age. They also have guys like Gary Payton II coming off the bench that have that championship DNA. Some of the younger guys do as well, but they weren't really as big of contributors to those championships as, say, the bigger guys there. And then you got Chris Paul, who also, you know, lots of championship experience for CP3. The young guys, like we said, they're going to have to get acclimated to it. They're going to have to learn how to play playoff basketball, which is something Jordan Poole really didn't get the whole concept of, which, you know, I think that's part of the reason he got traded. The other part was, you know, 4 years, $120 million. Warriors are in a tough spot salary cap-wise right now, so they had to move on from that. But taking a look at the lineups this year, I think they're going to run it back with that core that has won the championship before in the past. There have been some rumors that Draymond Green will be coming off the bench and Chris Paul will be starting at the point guard spot. I think that is insanity. I don't know why in the world you would put Chris Paul at the point guard spot, move Steph to the 2, Klay to the 3, and have Klay defend power forwards. I think that's crazy. No way Steve Kerr is that insane. Maybe he is, though. Maybe he is just becoming a mad scientist and we don't know about it. I don't think there's much truth to that, however. So, Steph and Klay, an all-time backcourt, back at it. And then you got Wiggins, who is just a perfect complement to those two. A guy that can really defend anybody on the court, can create his own shot. He's going to be their X factor again this year. Looney, the excellent rebounder, and then Draymond is the glue that holds it all together. And it's a really good starting 5 all in all. Now, let's take a look at the bench here. It consists of Chris Paul, Gary Payton II, Lester Quinones, Dario Saric, and Jonathan Kuminga. They really don't have that backup center, so maybe we see a trade made, or maybe, I don't know, Trayce Jackson-Davis isn't big enough to play center. Neither really is Dario Saric. I guess he could in a pinch, but Kevon Looney is still really the only true center they have on this team. So if they're getting beat on the boards again, maybe you see a trade. I mean, if they're getting beat on the boards early in the season, you can obviously make a trade before the deadline. I'm not sure really what they have to trade, though. They don't have their first-round pick this year. That's kind of been sent around. I think it is now in Portland. But this is what the bench unit is looking like, and it is a pretty good bench. You look at it compared to other benches in the NBA, like the Celtics or the Bucks, definitely clears those, definitely clears the Nuggets. I think the Suns have a better bench, same thing with the Clippers, but, you know, honestly, the Suns are probably the best team in the NBA on paper. But, you know, the Warriors are deep, too. I mean, they got these 3 guys that could also give them meaningful minutes off the bench for sure in a, you know, big position, and then Brandon Podziemski as well. So lots of guys. I mean, they go 14 deep with guys that you could legitimately put into the game, and then they just signed Rudy Gay as well. But yeah, if you made it this far into the video, I appreciate you. Those are my 5 reasons why I think the Golden State Warriors can win the NBA championship this year. Not saying they will, but there's a chance. So make sure to hit the like button and hit that subscribe button if you did enjoy at any point. And with all that being said, thanks so much for watching today's video.